嗡啊吽。我们下午2点钟这一座是以修法跟持咒为主，尤其是会有比较长的一个持咒的时间。那希望我们大家都能够一起尽力的持诵，让咒音呢传到很远很远无量无边的世界。这是我们今天下午2点到3点半这一座。4点钟的话，仁波切还是会以净土4音的讲述为主，所以请2点钟这一座呢，我们大家一起尽力的持诵弥陀心咒。 志工请回座。 Page 9. 开始唱。
Your 是我 Om Amitabha, Om Amitabha, Om Amitabha. Om 区别是没有北部，没像。
Oh, yes. So overseas friend, if you will leave tonight or tomorrow, because we had no chance to offer Hada to Rinpoche in the last day. So please, you can offer Hada to Rinpoche today. So in this section, end of this section, 5 o'clock, you can bring your Hada and wait in the first floor. We can together to offer Hada to Rinpoche. 5 o'clock today.
Page 28. Amitabha se o Amitabha se o Amitabha Amitabha se o Amitabha se o Amitabha Amitabha se o Amitabha se o Amitabha se o Amitabha Amitabha se o 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 Amitabha o Amitabha se o Amitabha se o Amitabha o Amitabha se o Amitabha se o Amitabha Amitabha Then by the wall, you might give us on the end of the land. This is also not the bar. On the sure that I know share come. You're not the banana. I just you was Saturday night. This year, done last of you Matiba, wrong, never going to kill it. The cure is the Shawachi. Last what the Pashaway now. Shall look at it. Shall the thought of Batana, Betty Yanatena, Shetan around the Batlangory. They got something, never all the way. People had something she was in there. Got you, Shetan, something check away. There's something, they were just to put something. Got the gratitude. Oh, that's Shetan's a bit of charity. You are set up Mambulanga, neck up for you. Yeah. 상제고가 토고는 삼제들이 뒤 돌아가는 다 시랑 콩 파시랑 제거는 유무바 톡제 소소라 유무바 리가 아래 때까지 제일 대신에 들이랑 돌시랑나 들이고다 라서 뛰어지 저뛰어지 다 누가 다서 제일에 담에 이제 뭐뭐 당시랑 거대 누가 다요 뭐 다서마다 소지 셈 따고 해
So please continue to recite the mantra quietly and uninterruptedly. And so this morning we spoke about the 7 branches just a little bit. And so we said that the antidote to pride is frustrations. And then the next one is we speak about confession. And so that is the antidote to hatred or anger and all the other afflictions that arise without us having any control over it. And even though afflictions arise, we can purify them through confession. So how are they actually purified? So without any control over it, often anger arises, and love defeats anger. For example, if there is 2 people who really love each other very much, in a moment they might get angry at each other, and that interrupts their love. And the only cause of happiness is love. So at that time when that happens, then you should recognize I'm being angry, and that is the very cause that spoils all my happiness temporarily when I wish to take birth in higher realms, and ultimately it hinders my attainment of enlightenment. So rather than getting angry at the other person, actually you should get angry at the anger itself. And then also recognize the harm, the destruction that is caused by any of the 6 afflictive emotions. So you get angry at the affliction and instantly replace it with a mind of love. And this is then when love arises. This is then when the negativity has become purified from your mind. On the other hand, if you recite hundreds and thousands of 100-syllable mantras, but you still keep fostering hatred and anger in your mind, then you still have, of course, not purified the negativity to be purified. So whether or not this is the case, whether or not you have purified, you can really only judge by seeing your own mind.
다 놓쳐서 생기고 초밥을 가서 놓쳐 가도 다 잘라지 다지 말고 생각만 고통 다 배셔먹고 다 나고 상고요에 들제르지니 소고 제보는 생나요에 매고드는 제일 생나요에 소소 조비는 제사면 제도는 제야요 말이랑 소아 들이다고요 말이 됐다 믹사 말이 선에 대근이 뭘 추가하리나 나는 추가를 하는 나지를 담아들이 타갈람 들어서래 그런 대공적이 오나 내 사제에 이 답을 가서 콩그레스 콩그 가서 남에 콩그 가서 삼위제나 그 삼위제를 지내들이 기발라서 para 지내들이 가서 제제 토리 되와 토피요 해 그래서 왜나 데키도 정말 사제가 남을 다들 그 이거 뭐아니 랑마치 이루서는 이제 나그서 이제 탐지 나지 이제 사제를 보고 다 매사에 커버되고 사제에 삼되는지 이제는 초과버가 이제 소소거나 제야매나 나지 싸워요 산이 쳐라고 사제가 그래지 제자와 쌈 되는지 초과버를 나서 그래서 뭐만 못 지내요 다들 배도도 선다 저밖에 필요없이 제르제르서는 잡고요. 얘는 다시 매 다음 또 무슨 나게 비샤도 망고 로가서 매강다 야 주소 나비 줄로 이제 록이 가리는데 제일 피고 아셔서 매일 살다 오세 가라고 세배 발리도 이제 체대 상태는 드리요 생각을 생는지 모르 세상들이 다 세고 저도 통고 말이야 센터에서 통고요. 제기들이 제도 속차를 적도 고치고지 몇바 차오지 되는 마음으로 사지가 소방하니 대사를 중대사 양세나 강소 양 다리에서 나 콜리마 좀에 다 다리를 세대에서 공부를 한 거예요.
And so then the next branch is making offerings, and that's the antidote to desire or attachment and greed or stinginess. And so also it is similar with anger. Where does it come from? It arises from this thought of me. For example, you get angry because he humiliated me. And so everything arises from this sense of an I, me. And every time an affliction arises, therefore recognize the self that it arises from. And so now regarding the making offerings being the antidote to attachment and greed, again that arises from this me. For example, you are stingy because you think that in the future I will go hungry, so I need to collect many things, I need to make a lot of money, I need this and I need that and so on. And even if you're very rich, you can't let go, you're stingy. And if you're poor, then it is even more difficult. And then even though you might want to give, you feel that you can't because you just don't have enough. So the antidote to this kind of state of mind is to let go and to make offerings. And that means, for example, if you have at home a tanka just the size of an arm's length, or a statue the size of a thumb joint, you would think that all of this belongs to the Buddha. Actually, he gave it all to us. And what he really gave us is love and compassion. It is because of love and compassion that I have practiced generosity, and as a result of this, in this life, I experience some well-being. So all happiness really is given ultimately by the Buddha. Therefore, I offer everything I own to the Buddha. And not just what I own, the entire universe and all sentient beings, everything that appears and exists. And the Buddha is the real owner of my home, and so on. So you think in this way. And if you do this on an ongoing basis, even if you can't make vast offerings, if you just feel that everything I have, nothing belongs to me, it all belongs to the Buddha, then you will die later on with a mind that is not attached. And so in this way, everything becomes an offering. So then, even though you are rich and you have a lot of possessions, you will make good use of your possessions, and they will become a cause for accumulating merit. And for example, you would think that in the future, this money should be used for to help a school or a hospital or a Dharma center or anything beneficial in the world or in the Dharma. And when I die, I will let it all go. Nothing really belongs to me. And so in this way, then everything, you have let go of anything with your mind. There's nothing that you hold on to. So therefore, it becomes an antidote to attachment and greed. And that is the very cause for falling. Greed and attachment together are the cause of taking birth as a hungry spirit. So we cannot see the cause, but we can see the fruition when it ripens. For example, those beings also appear in the animal realm. They have very large bellies and very narrow throats. The Buddha explained that actually extensively. And so at that time when greed or stinginess and so on arise, again recognize where it arises from. It also arises from this concept of a self and me. And so again, there is really no afflictive emotion which does not arise from self-grasping. And just as before, when greed or stinginess or attachment and so on arise, then you should get angry in a way with that affliction and make effort to eliminate it.
차도가 인고를 지세한 공부를 해서 차도 기반은 뭐 강의 상관상 유머를 뭐를 상관상 차도 기반 리셈이요래 자본 리바다는 로컬 리바니요래 자본 리바로 어떻게 사와야 보여 왜 제일 사과 제고서 세계에서 보여요 이런데 리셈을 게다 필요돼서 정보 들이 야도 제고 공부 야도 제고서는 그냥 쓰는 타고요 얘나 로컬이 그 야보지 필요 문제 때문에 가려 그 야보도 저 그들 누가 봤던 거지 그들 매웠죠 거 그들 야보 맞아나 진짜 로컬 리마들 제대로 생각나 나다 제제고 제시 받는데 책에 제를 론리 로컬 리마들 이게 야보지 제일 누가 봤다는 게 리생 제 누구 그렇게는 똑같이 사람이 손에 수남제는 민생제죠. 이 차도 뭐 가리도 되는 오这个 약간 차 람산테 그리고 뮤직을 그 사와 지금 매여 보이 차 제 어디 용기 좋은 콜 중대로 넣어요 다들이 중시에 그렇지 차도 이거 다 대선 사보기가 뭐는 소모리 예를 들면 용기 타지 중도 그래 중도를 되게 가래 막 마법이나 이거 가려요 대회는 이 수남 제기 봐도 끼와도 처럼 또 못봐 좀지방 맞아봐 연락서 가지 몇체들 같이 고속고요 막 고고요 말에 들으라는 가리 너가 이거 나타요 그래 동네요 그래 저렇게도 놀도도 가리만 주고 가서 로컬들이 봐도 진짜가 하다 먹자 그래서 저는 신기해서 수납이 같이 내가 좀 참지는데 더 상호에 상태에 내가 고통을 생기게 등에 섰나 될 가요래 저 가만히서 코티 고시 내가 저걸 뒤 눈이 가리지 망걸 소지 토오래 내가 하자 잡고래 다음에 출력을 타도지 내가 일을 타도지 그러면 또 파마 근데 파마지고 뽑는 차도 차라만 보여요 차도 문제지 싫어하거든 그 차도를 지금 고야 말이지 차도 강이지 나르지 나진 계속 차도 그런 거 말이 또나 그런 거 저기 나디 중들에 되나 들이 나크요래 지스랑 뭐 놀을 때 고도는 처음에 약고도 차로 남은 가리나 답이 주로 참으로 약고도 차 사람들이 가장 많이는 내가 놈들 라고 토고요. 소수야 보다 토고 말이야. 차도 이 뭐를 기세랑 거 뭐서.
So the next antidote to jealousy is a rejoicing, and so the first the nature of jealousy should be recognized, and so actually you should do that with every affliction that arises. You really should think about the nature of that affliction, how it really appears. So the nature of jealousy is a competitive mind, or like an ambitious mind. And there's actually two kinds of competitiveness or ambitiousness. One is a better version of it, and the other one is a corrupt version of it. The better version is that if somebody else is engaging in a positive activity, you might feel competitive and think that I shall do even better than that. So since it is a positive activity, it is a better kind of competitiveness, and of course some flaws come from that too, but also something good comes from it. But then there's the corrupt competitiveness, and this one is really destructive. For example, if someone else is engaging in virtuous activity, whether it is dharma or mundane, and you feel jealous about that and competitive, so you want to undermine their activity, and you wish that they will fail and not be successful. So that is the corrupt form of competitiveness, and this kind of state of mind leads to birth as a demonic being. So when somebody is doing something good and you want them to fail and you want to undermine it, so that is really the essence of it. And that is actually the worst kind of all the 6 afflictive emotions. Sakya Pandita had said that it is this evil, corrupt intention that destroys all of your merit. So one is doing a good thing, whether in the world or the Dharma, and has many great qualities and is successful, and then you come and say, actually he doesn't only have good qualities, look at these faults, then you try to find some of their faults and point that out. So that is a sign, for example, of this jealous competitiveness. That's also explained in the King of Aspiration prayers for excellent conduct. So that is, you see someone with good qualities as a flawed being, and when somebody actually humiliates them, you actually secretly like that, and that is what exhausts all of your merit for all future lifetimes. And then in future lifetimes you will not find harmonious companions, and you will not have a beautiful appearance, and everything that could go wrong will just go wrong. You will encounter obstacles and sickness and all kinds of problems all the time, and things will just not be successful. And that comes from this competitive mind of jealousy. And that is what destroys all your merit. Because the only cause of happiness, as we said, is love, and it destroys that cause. Since you rejoice in the suffering and the misery of others. For example, if you don't like somebody and you hear that, oh, their house is burned down, then you feel like, oh yes, they deserve that, that's right. So actually whatever you rejoice in, it is that you will get exactly that yourself in the future. So if you rejoice in the misery of others, then you will get exactly that in the future. So you have to be very careful when it comes to jealousy. And it happens everywhere, even in the Dharma, between spiritual teachers, or in a worldly sense it happens between like siblings who have the same parents. So jealousy arises in many different coarse and subtle ways, and it's very important to recognize it with clear awareness. This is jealousy, this is not good. Whenever it arises, recognize it arises from this concept of me, and recognize its fault, and recognize the fault of the self that it arises from. And if you really clearly recognize it, you will be able to deal with it. And so instead of being jealous, therefore, practice rejoicing and just wish for the happiness of all. Whether it's in the world or in the Dharma, just wish for everyone's well-being. And even if you can't do anything at all to help anyone, just to rejoice, and you will naturally receive great merit. So again, rejoicing therefore is the antidote to jealousy and a corrupt intention. And so in the past, regarding the nature or the essence of jealousy, my own root guru, Chime Dorje, he actually told me, actually in secret, he told me that we all are practicing the Dharma. And we all have, take refuge in these rituals, and we recite bodhicitta, prayers and so on. But then also at the same time, we are very competitive and jealous at others, and we curse them, and we try to undermine their activities through the Dharma. Often we are utilizing the Dharma to harm others, also in many worldly ways. And because we practice the Dharma, but also because we harm them, we might find a precious human body in the future, but even though we are a human being, we will have a very ugly face and ugly appearance, and we will not find any companions. And so this is what happens when you're jealous. So actually, he demonstrated the face that you will have with each affliction. So what kind of face does a jealous person, a competitive person have? So he made this really kind of ugly grimace of face, that this is how a jealous person looks like. And then he made a face for an angry person, and he said this is how an angry person looks like. And so he made a face for each of the afflictive emotions, and so this is how you're going to look like if you develop this afflictive emotion. And so he told me that in secret, actually.
The most about the guy, give up, I said, lay the break down, Katoman, Meshiva, Shimatapa, I said, Lama, Womatapa, there's some hit. There's always another city, Mama, the city, Zumi, Mayabala, Jolam to Lord of Charlotte, Samana, what is little young Major, little Jacalotola, Mamma, the Pastel or Chili, there's some Zuki, Mayan, Jolam to Lord, Mount or to Lord Cherry or Cherry. They need all of it, true gories. The team, Machichapolati, they were Johako, Drubchö, Torata, Dugi, Hako, Magiva, the Pamshi, they are Gigi, they're a daughter of Mara, Gigi, Trisado, Yako, Mother Corporation. Some of this you are doing a couple of words. Doya Corporation, they will. Della prima carriera delle leggi che tu primo to leggi di macchina o tasa dewa da carriera un sapse io di jibaganabi sochunganabi jibaganabi this subject garden is still lapso o choso saji lapso 사지의 매나 다른 물리 용용을 대리 용용을 다 물리 돌게 미는 상황으로 차로 그래서 총통상으로다가 되게 추기용 것들이 내가 필바 제대로 동의 남들 체시바 다톡 내와 이제 답고 자지 사상으로 도마르네 내가 탐지에서 사족서 사바의 힘들에서 하고는 사바의 힘들에서 하고 어떻게 정시바데 사지 가르는 있어 대디 레지브리 마시는 맥맨이 로가서 그래서 맥이 오래지 제바도 보고 말 제대 yap고 보고 말해서 대체들이 대지 뭘 줄고로 꼬아서 왔다나 사지가 주저 고로 막고를 해놓고 그래 습지 마세봐도 꼴거리지 소소들이 줄 용하와 사지 잘장하와 주기 동하고 터봐 대표에서들 주저 고로 꼬아서 왔다고 해서 넘어가니 뭐.
And so that's why whenever jealousy arises instantly, you should recognize its essence and make effort to eliminate it. And so then the next is the antidote to ignorance, which is to request to turn the wheel of Dharma. And so ignorance is now somebody who doesn't understand karma and past and future lives. And even if you tell them, no matter how often or how much you tell them, they still don't understand it. And with ignorance, we will progress further and further down in samsara. And even as a human being, we might look as a human, but more act like an animal. For example, people smoke and take intoxicants, and they don't want to study or learn anything, and they cause a lot of harm to their country and their people. And even though they are humans now, in the future they will take birth as an animal. So what they need as an antidote is the Dharma. And so if one only focuses on this life, if one is only interested in this life, one will never understand the real cause of happiness. So then one will not know how to create happiness. All happiness will become spoiled. And one will not know the cause of suffering, so one will not know how to avoid the cause of suffering. And so that is just like you're casting a rock up into the air, and then it will fall back down onto your head. So whatever you throw out there will come back to you. So that is actually also something that my root guru Chime Dorje had told me. So then whatever you do, you will encounter difficulty, just like throwing rocks up in the air who keep falling down back onto your head. So such a person needs the Dharma. The real benefit of the Dharma is that you understand the workings of karma. A person who understands karma will know why they experience happiness in this life. It is really the quality of the kindness of the Buddha and the quality of love. Because of love, you have practiced generosity and ethical discipline and patience and so on. And who taught you that? It's the three jewels, it's the Buddha. Without those practices, you, even though you have a human body now, in future lifetimes you will become an animal and so on. So the quality of the Dharma is that it brings you a temporary benefit. You learn how to take all the suffering of this life onto the path. And it is your ultimate happiness, because if you have the Dharma, you will know how to create and sustain the causes of happiness by taking vows like the Refuge vow and so on. You will understand the quality of love and compassion and practice patience in the face of difficulties. And that is the kindness of the Buddha. If you wouldn't know karma, you would be like a person without eyes, like a blind person. You might have a physical eyes, but all you can really see is the concern of this life. So therefore, if for this purpose we supplicate to turn the wheel of Dharma, and actually, even though we supplicate to turn the wheel of Dharma, the Buddha anyways turns the wheel of Dharma. So even if you tell the Buddha don't turn the wheel of Dharma, he will still turn the wheel of Dharma until the end of samsara, until there are no more sentient beings. But it is we set an auspicious connection if we supplicate to turn the wheel of Dharma, so that we will actually encounter the Buddha and encounter the teachings and understand the meaning of the teachings and so on. And so for this reason, we have to supplicate to turn the wheel of Dhamma, and for this reason it becomes the antidote to ignorance.
So if
one doesn't recognize the ignorance within one's mind, then one will be carried away by each of the 5 sense objects, like forms and touch and taste and so forth. And then with each of those 5 sense objects, you have your own ignorance that doesn't recognize it. So you have 5 different kinds of ignorance then. So collectively, it is ignorance that engages in all negativity, and it is like your mind. So the mind becomes like dirty, muddy water. The more dirt you throw into the water, the more muddy it becomes. So that is the nature of ignorance. And for example, when you just eat some food, for example, it arises. Thoughts of attachment and aversion arise because of ignorance. For example, you're eating something nice and you don't recognize, so you develop attachment. Or you're eating something that you don't like and you say, oh, this is disgusting, so you don't recognize and you develop resentment or anger. And both of these kinds of state of mind form imprints in your mind. And in this way we accumulate imprints just like snowflakes accumulating. And so to reverse that, we practice virtue, we practice the Dharma, we practice the deity, we recite the mantra for a long time to reverse these habitual imprints. Lama and so the next to supplicate the Buddha not to pass into nirvana is the antidote to doubts. And so doubts is, for example, some people think that Now the Buddha appeared at some point, and the Buddha is very magnificent and very impressive and very precious. However, like every other human being, he just died and now he's gone. So these people don't really understand the Buddha's qualities of the Dharmakaya and the Sambhogakaya. And so someone who has not realized the natural state of the mind, the view, cannot of course see the Dharmakaya and the Sambhogakaya, and therefore they do not accept it. But somebody who has realized the view knows that the mind actually is like space and it cannot actually die and is non-dual. So then they understand how the Buddha really exists and that the Dharma really exists. And the Dharma is nothing else but love and compassion. The Buddha Dharmakaya is like space, and the Sambhogakaya is like rainbows appearing in space. And then all beings in this world with love, all are actually Nirmanakayas. So such a person really understands the essence of the Dharma, but those who have not realized this view, they might feel that there might be a Buddha, and there might have been a Buddha, but now he's gone, so it's all a lie. So we supplicate to not pass into nirvana, but actually the Buddha never really passes into nirvana, but we supplicate in order to clear away our doubts and in order to understand the real qualities of the three kayas that all the Buddhas possess. So the Buddhas actually never pass away. Also, for example, when a Lama, a spiritual teacher, passes away, people think that they are gone. But actually, the Guru is someone who has given rise to the four immeasurables, and that can never die. Milarepa also had said, when you are sick, it is your thought that is sick. And when you die, it is your thought that dies. So you think that I am dying. It's a thought. Dying or sickness is a thought in your mind. And so for as long as you have this grasping at a me and I, there is death. And then there is all the various appearances in the bardo, and there is wandering around in the 6 realms of samsara. But when there is no more self-grasping, there is no more dualistic thought. Then there is no one who wanders in samsara. So one who has realized this view really understands the qualities of the Buddha and understands that the Buddha really can't pass into nirvana, but still we supplicate to not pass into nirvana, because that sets an auspicious connection for the Buddha's teachings to remain for a long time. That is the power of aspiration. That's also very important. And for this reason, such supplications also expand the lifespan of the Guru and also help to increase the Guru's enlightened activities. So for this reason, it is very significant, very important to supplicate to not pass into nirvana. And so then coming back to the 4 causes of birth in Devachan. So to summarize, we said the first one is the support, that is the visualization of the field of accumulation, and we said that this means to again and again bring to mind, remember the Pure Land and the Buddha Amitabha. Then the second cause is the support of bodhicitta, which is to cultivate love for all sentient beings and wishing for them all to be born in Devachan and to be free of self-grasping. And then number 3 is the cause of accumulating merit and purifying obscurations. And that we said is, for example, to practice the 6 paramitas toward sentient beings and the 7 branches toward higher beings. And these practices should be merged, mixed with all your daily activities. And then the 4th cause is the condition, which is the pure or authentic aspiration prayer. And that also relates to the 7th and last branch of the 7-branch prayer. And that is dedication, which is the antidote to self-grasping.
Nima Gita Tamchi Surdor Gita Mudi Karari Gita Daily Sunga Dodo Omama was in the Mado Dodo something. They go some more Ning Dao the Nimacho control on it. Tadily control on it. It's a that shot. Big child on it. I don't touch a corridor. You want to number the custom. That's last. Jaguar told Shosson. That last. They will get our watch by the that kept about it. Not a kept about you. Jumped in the yoga. Saji Tamchik was a curious, simply no corner over jumped to chip whatever it is. Oh, dear, younger than my own minute. Jumped off the body with chatted there, you're married. The other thing is so sort of Saji Tamchik, one of the young neck up Torgi Dira, sort of Saji Gopang. Nyam talk over Refuge talk over get up watching. Mam and Zay, that is get at it. Now, no, what they get a lot over it. Couple stop and get a photo change to versus the Jataka about it. Moat, Monamti, the Choratina, part of the Sabat, Tropical Karatani, Thubten, Monam, Yishi. Yeah, part of the Sabat, Gemini, the song on the there was a Tani Jenny, Lama Magasar, take care of it. The Toa attachable. Top Monam, the top Monam, the Kari, get a chunk, the Gisatilla, Dag was top, so new top on Sabat by the Uberis. The only the beautiful top, just on the Yoksarati. She did the top dinner. The Yeri Saji in your mind. Oh, so much in it, Navasaji by the get a chung in the Yamera. That's our child. Didn't want to also didn't want to watch it with get a dad of my own. Now, these are going to
And so then, when we practice any kind of root of virtue, in order to not spoil or lose this virtue, be dedicated, because very easily we might develop a sense of pride or ownership when it comes to even virtuous activities. For example, some people say that I did the ngondro, I completed the ngondro for that many times, or I have recited hundreds and thousands and millions of mantras, of these mantras. So there is this sense of I have done this, I have this, and this state of mind solidifies your mind into this solid thing of me. I did this, and it's all me. And so this kind of virtue becomes destroyed one day. So what is an actual true virtue? It is, for example, when you're churning milk, you keep churning the milk, you get a small piece of butter from it, the essence. And so this essence that you should get from any kind of Dharma practice is love. For example, if there is two friends who really love each other from the bottom of their heart, then one day they get really angry at each other, and all of that love is spoiled. It is just like, for example, you have like 10,000 US dollars or so, and then you take it on a plane and it crashes and you lose it all, or you meet a robber and he takes it from you, so then it's all gone instantly, just like that. So on the other hand, if you dedicate properly, it is just like adding one drop of water into the vast ocean, and that is to merge your dedication with the aspiration of all the Buddhas. And the Buddhas only have one thing in mind when they dedicate, and that is the well-being of all sentient beings. So if you add your virtue to that, then your drop of water to the ocean, then it doesn't matter how small the drop is, it merges with the ocean and becomes as vast as the ocean. So this is how you merge with the power of all the Buddha's aspiration. And doing that, you will achieve a twofold result. That is, the happiness of the temporary states in the higher realms and the ultimate enlightenment. If you do not dedicate, on the other hand, then the virtue that you practice becomes exhausted. Then you feel that I have done this or that and so on, and you might lose your virtue. It is said that the virtues accumulated in many aeons is destroyed by a single moment of anger. So the Buddha, with skillful means, therefore, told us, practice dedication, practice aspiration prayer. And that is also actually included in our sadhana here. Normally we have the 6 paramitas, and in addition we have 4 more, so we have 10 paramitas. So in addition to the 6 paramitas, we have the paramita of method, of power, of aspiration, and of primordial wisdom. And actually this is also was explained by Milarepa when he explained that the results from practicing the 10 paramitas. And Lama Thubten Nima has therefore also added these 10 paramitas prayer into our sadhana here. It's really very precious. So we have the additional 4 paramitas of power, method, aspiration, and wisdom. And aspiration here is that even if you just practice a slight virtue, whatever you aspire for will become accomplished due to 3 powers. So the first power that needs to be present is the power of your own good intention. That is, you must possess immeasurable love and compassion for all beings. And if you have that, then you will access the second power, which is the power of all the Buddha's compassion, which then is just like pouring your drop of water into the ocean. And when you do that, you access the third power, which is the power of Dharmadhatu. And that is that on the basis, actually there is no division between Buddhas and sentient beings. And so therefore all aspirations are accomplished. And so it is due to those 3 powers that even the slightest virtue becomes very powerful and inexhaustible. And that is the special quality of the Buddhist aspiration prayer or dedication prayer. So in this way, try not to hold on to take ownership of the virtuous things that you do, but dedicate them for sentient beings and recognize how self-grasping, this selfish state of mind always leads you astray and deceives you.
senji dādi tōrthoku yo mare, zabali sakang tōrthoku re, dādi sūjau tōrthoku mare, dādi tō mātabu dōra rūru kōra jāre, tā sōkcha chāyu chāwāni chēwāra rāptāni chōngāni dāshīsāng, dāmīnyōng rōgu re, dādi mātabu tōrthoku yo mare, tērā sāgi tāpla kēpārke, dādi dā samchēka tōrthoku hāko re, tē tōrthoku tērā tōts, sāchuk sēnte, sāngchuk sēnte, dādi tōrthoku yo re, dādi dā samsōngā, 샤롱이 교수는 스키타디 처리해서 탑 당시 대도 소리도 탑 상지시 탑 모남 모남을 예 똑대답을 탑 산속성을 타오래 탑 필요 뭐게 되겠다고 그래 또 산속성을 모남 대다 산속성을 추구나 별이 무슨 거에 물론 짠짠 듣고요. 사실 마요말 드세요말 사실 때바데 같이 공격도 매는 게 빠르고 이 사실 똑대리 몰랐지. 제일지 이시시 봐도 다투는 데에 다섯 개선지 동물들이 세계에서 주의 대신이 뭐지 이시시 봐도 이요 말이지. 있으니까 동서를 나도 여기 다기 이요래. 제일을 들이 몰랐나 되니 다 몰랐다. 사축생이 예배들 몰랐다고. 그래서 몰랐는 데다가 그래. 다음에 십지 삼지 이시고 왕주서가 들이 이시를 십지 삼지 동로 선진군에서 이거만 선진하고 사계에서 추제에 또 시바들 선진군의 매회 로버를 봐서 나디 상관을 선진에 사계에 고방 탑답한 예시 그래서 파라도스마 대람다 들이 독재들은 보는 예시 다다 잡지 미바다 소거를 들이 또 파라도스마 껴다 하잡기 저거를 이 통문도는 말은 요래 디들서 저 고아도 차 들이 이제 문제들이 야 대체를 그래서 다시 세계 상태 철문화도나 다들 똑som들 시리즈 뭐는 럽탁고 요래 럽을 빼가래 빼는 말이 발랍슬라 이쪽 대기 다 로마 말이 바 셔서인데 다 초코다 뭐란다 초코다 초코다 말이 발랍슬라 가라트 참 말이 초코는 lep서 말이 네가 코마시 저 가이스 삼터고 가보면 가라트에도 삼터는 아저씨 좋고 야 가라트 뭐 좋다 가라카 제일 와서 기도를 좀 초코다 말이 다 뭐는 것도 다 하래 제가 무슨 빼양 자기를 해도 거는 저기 레타 뭐 같은 거 다들 은혜에서 소화지야 요래 그래서 다 내가 지대 저기 애들은 그래서 이게 다시 내려 요래
So then there is the parameter of method, and so actually the 84,000 Dharma teachings, the three levels of the path of individual liberation, the Bodhisattvas and the Vajrayana path, are all the methods taught by the Buddha. And so what is the method? Sentient beings who wander in samsara, the root cause of their suffering is the sense of me, the self-grasping. And the Buddha provided a method to destroy that. And that is actually something, self-grasping is something you cannot even destroy with a nuclear bomb. With a nuclear bomb you can wipe out this entire planet, this entire world, but still you can't destroy self-grasping with it. So no one was able to ever destroy self-grasping, and beings continue to wander in the six realms of samsara even if this world is destroyed. And sometimes they take birth in very small forms like atomic particles, and sometimes very large like mountains and so on, and no one ever can destroy self-grasping. And so the Buddha then provided a skillful means to destroy self-grasping, and that is love. So if you have that skillful means, if you have the paramita of method and understand it, you realize it, then you have the paramita of power. So it is to know that love and compassion destroy self-grasping. It melts the ice block of self-grasping, and then all sentient beings become water, their natural state. So the method is love and compassion. And then there is the aspiration and the paramita of power. So actually the paramita of aspiration and the paramita of power becomes like the path. So the method again is the 84,000 teachings in brief. The power really comes, the paramita of power really comes from bodhicitta, and the paramita of aspiration, of prayer, is that what really is accomplished with bodhicitta is accomplished through the power of aspiration. Actually, everything is accomplished through aspiration. And that is why the Buddha's teachings still exist. The Buddha doesn't have an army or has no nuclear bombs or anything like that, no weapons. But still, no matter how much people try to destroy the teachings, they still blaze strong like fire. Ultimately, there is the power of primordial wisdom, the 10th paramita, that refers to the ultimate fruition of all that. And that is then to realize that in reality there are no real sentient beings, because all beings possess Buddha nature. That is their true reality, a non-dual mind. So for as long as we haven't realized that and we perceive a self, there are thoughts about self and others. And so here we need to apply the method and aspiration and bodhicitta. For example, the aspiration of Samantabhadra. When we make these aspirations, we realize that all sentient beings can become transformed into the state of primordial wisdom, because there are no real sentient beings. All beings are actually Buddhas. And this understanding is the power of the Dharma Dhatu. There are no real sentient beings. They only are obscured by temporary obscurations, the obscuration of self-grasping. And when that is cleared away, all beings are actually Buddhas. And that is the paramita of primordial wisdom. So the previous paramitas are like the path, and the first 6 are like the path, and then the last 4 paramitas are like the power that is accomplished through practicing that path. So the 10 paramitas in this way are very, very important. And if you want to read more about them, you can also read the 100,000 Songs of Milarepa. It's in there. If you really understand that, then you see the significance of why we wanted to also add that to our sadhana here. So whoever makes a virtuous aspiration, this aspiration is accomplished by virtue of these 3 powers. There's one story also about the power of aspiration, also a story by Milarepa. So there was one time when Milarepa was practicing in Drubchö, and he was snowed in the winter time, and his disciples thought that he must have died. So they performed a tzok offering on his behalf and made aspiration prayers for him. And actually Milarepa didn't die, and sometimes he even had a full belly. And then his disciples sometimes would ask him, what actually happened? What happened to you? Why did you not die? And Milarepa said, sometimes the dakinis came and fed me, and sometimes I just naturally felt full, and I didn't feel hungry, and I smelled delicious food. And so then the disciples asked on which days did that happen, and it turned out that those were the days when Milarepa, when the disciples performed a feast offering, a tzok offering on behalf of Milarepa. And this is when Milarepa realized the power of aspiration that we do for others. A beginning practitioner, when they read stories like that, can really understand, oh, this is real, this is really true, and they will develop faith and a true experience of the power of aspiration. So in any case, this completes the teachings on the 4 causes to take birth in Devachan and Dashidele.